What's up, guys? It is December. This episode is wrapping up the lodge, the years that we've put this together for Building Whitetails, and it is the beginning of the 107 project. I've said it before, you'll hear me say it again, I will continue to say it. Help the deer do what deer want to do. Okay, so the lodge in review. I've been over the last couple of weeks pondering, what were the big things that really was the building blocks to building this property, things that I know that can transition over to maybe your property, maybe not your property yet, but your property, your dream property in the future. The first thing I had to do was establish my sanctuary. That's number one thing. If a deer's not safe, if a mature buck doesn't feel safe, he is not going to be there. Behind me is my sanctuary. The wind is blowing from the west right now, so it's not blowing in there. Otherwise, I would not be here in this spot. But this is the edge of the perimeter of my sanctuary. This was the number one thing that I had to establish. It was some advice given to me by someone else. They're like, dude, take what you think you need in sanctuary and go bigger. So I planted for the most part, the entire thing back here to native grass, switchgrass, Indian grass, big blue stem. Did some tree projects, planted a lot of shrubs, things of that nature. Back off to the south here. Covered all that stuff in past episodes. And what I did is I was like, this is my sanctuary, this is the heart of my property, this is what I have to base everything else off of. This isn't like, here's my plot, so I'm gonna put my sanctuary there. Here's my sanctuary, so here's where I'm gonna put my plots. Number one thing, I just pound this over and over and over, is security. And I was telling Aaron right before this, I don't even know what it looks like in there. I have not been in here since the 1st of September when I had to come in. I don't know what I had to do. Oh, I had to disc up one spot right over here. It's killing me. I want to go in there, I want to look at it, but I know if I go in there, I'm going to disturb the deer activity that's going on in there, and that, hey, this is my safe spot feeling is gone. I killed it, and I don't want to do that. I won't go in here until shed season, or same time when we burn. And anyway, so that's number one thing. The next thing is based off of that, where did I put my food and what kind of food did I put out? So food, providing deer with what they need, it really comes down to a balanced diet. And a lot of it, in fact, I think, I'm not a deer biologist. I listen to deer biologists. There's people out there that know eons more than I do about the actual food side of things and what deer eat. But I try to provide as much diversity as I possibly can. They eat a lot of woody browse, they eat a lot of natives, but when they come into this food plot, I want them to have everything they need. I don't want them to have to go somewhere to get something to balance their diet that someone else has. We've got grain, we've got beans, we've got corn, we have clovers, we have cereal grains, we've got brassicas, we've got peas, we've got about anything and everything you can plant. And I've got different varieties of the grain corns. I've got 3 different hybrids of grain corn out there. So really, and that's more in regards to, I just enjoy testing and seeing what the deer like. Do they prefer one over the other? If so, should we use it? Does it work well here in our climate? And that's something you're gonna have to really work on in your properties. If you can supplemental feed, if you can do supplemental mineral, if you can do that. I've seen on some properties where that works great on some and they don't hardly touch it on others. So the food side of things, it's really kind of a big compass here. And it can be tough to navigate, but it's not impossible. You want to give them all that you can. I know a lot of people they're not able to do, say, corn per se, or maybe beans. Maybe they're limited in their equipment. But you can do beans, you can do a green plot with not a lot of equipment, and that does work. There's options out there to rent equipment from your local government agencies, your farm conservation offices. There's ways out there. There's a lot of videos, a lot of how-to videos, different outdoor people, not just myself. There's lots of good information out there. There's lots of crappy information out there too. But how to put in a plot with minimal equipment. You know, I think we even touched on that in past episodes. You know, I farm for a living. I don't hide that. I have access to large equipment, but at the same time, a lot of my plots, and this is no joke, and I try to say this as humbly as possible, are too small for the equipment I've got, because I'm working with large-scale ag equipment, and I have to use my four-wheeler, my Ranger. I've even used a hand sprayer, you know, like a lot of people have to kill stuff or spray stuff. So there's a lot of options out there. Don't think that you're limited necessarily. You know, just be open to new ideas, and you can really get a good food, you know, picture scope on your property to provide the deer with everything that they need for, you know, spring, summer, fall, and winter. Entering your hunting property is probably the #1 thing that you can do to either hinder, or if you do it properly, help your hunting odds, period. I've got, my food is on the other side of this grass. I planted this grass right here to give me a wall of, you know, security for me getting into the blind unnoticed, and the deer security because they feel more hidden back there from everything else. So I can just slip in right along here, get up into the blind, and 99% of the deer don't know that I did that, you know, whether I'm leaving the blind or in the evening or getting out in the morning, getting to the blind. So, you know, it's really tempting when you first, you know, get your food and everything, all the deer coming out over there, I need a blind over there, I need a stand over there. Not necessarily. Is that going to hurt you in the big picture? Sure, you might get over there and have an awesome hunt, but what if when you're getting out, you bust a whole bunch of deer, and maybe your target buck is on the other side of the field, you didn't even see him, and he saw you get out, and he knows where you're at, he knows where your stand's at, and your opportunity is shot. So really, you know, I've talked about this in past episodes, I'm not going to go over it again. You can go back in past videos and see, you know, how did I lay this plot out to move the deer past my blind. This blind is not in the best spot to kill a deer, or any, you know, a bunch of deer on this, but it's in a strategic spot so that when just about any deer comes into this plot, they will walk by this blind at one point or another. So it was kind of a median of accessibility. You know, my accessibility was bulletproof, but I didn't sacrifice that to get closer to the deer. That part, what I did is I shaped the plot in such a way, I made an opening in the switchgrass over here to my left to really allow the deer to go that direction. Deer are lazy in nature. They're not going to go the long way around for the most part. So if you can keep the pressure off and lay things out, I've said this since the beginning, help a deer do what the deer want to do. You know, design things so that it's in favor of the deer, but it leaves just enough room for you to hunt it and not be intrusive. I mean, it's as good as it gets. It really is. It takes time. Guys, this is not a quick process. This is a learning process. This is establishing a sanctuary, establishing food. How do I want to set my food up, my plots, my green, my grain? Where do I want to hunt? How do I hunt it? You know, this isn't, you're going to make mistakes. That's okay. I made plenty of mistakes on this property. I've been pretty transparent about that since the beginning. Guys, it's okay. It's okay. There are people out there that present themselves in a perfect way, and that's not reality. That's just, you know, everybody messes up, and that's all right. And that's honestly some of the more fun stuff, is when you can learn, change it, see that your change helps you and really helps your deer in the long term. So that's the lodge. I appreciate you guys following along. The 107 project. This is a piece of property I purchased a couple of years ago. Not much has been done to it. I've killed a couple of really nice deer off of it. I killed my deer this year, goalpost 2.0. I killed goalpost here. I killed goalpost 2.0 on the other one. 2.0 is, he looks very similar to goalpost. I posted some stuff on my Instagram about that deer. You can go back and look at it. But we've got some really good deer up and coming. This property needs developed in regards to, you know, hunting management, and that's what we're going to do. That's where this is moving. You know, all these series have been filmed for the most part here at the lodge, but we're shifting over to the 107. We're calling it the 107 project, and this property means a ton to me. So I really look forward to it. I can't wait to take you guys along. This is going to be a learning experience. I got a good idea on where to start. We got a lot of work to do, and I look forward to showing it to you guys. Merry Christmas, and we'll see you in 2023.